Long gone are the days of waiting to be seen in a doctor's office only to have that awkward conversation with your healthcare provider. Wisp gives you access to sexual and reproductive healthcare from the comfort of your home. Get treatment for BV, yeast infections, UTIs, and much more delivered directly to your home or ready for pickup at your local pharmacy in less than 3 hours. The best part? Wisp is discreet, convenient, and you don't need medical insurance to receive care or prescription medication. Visit us today at hellowisp.com.
Second time. And I will tell you guys something. You missed a whole joke about foreskins.
I think you should include it.
No.
Oh.
I'm uncut. Robert's cut. That's the end. Right here on Cue the Sniper Girl. Wanna take you around the world. I don't have a joke. And many people think that I will choke on Run the Sniper Girl. I have to watch what I say now, everybody. Have you guys noticed? Maybe you guys didn't notice. Very subtle. Maybe Robert noticed. Robert revealed recently, I'd make these like little jokes. Here's the thing. Here's a little afterthought behind the scenes tea. I like to make it seem that all my hosts, including Laurie, are handsome gay men. And so I hyped them up. But Robert took that to mean that I was thirsty for him.
That's not true. That was not what happened, Ellen.
I don't want to get into this. I don't want to get into this Tina Burner. But I will say that, so now I've had to pull back. But today, Robert and I had a conversation about foreskin. It was very weird. Anyway, actually, Robert, and I'm not being funny this time, we do not have a lot of time today. And in fact, once again, I'm going to have to read my Patreon plug just to make it really fast because we don't have any time. Hey, everyone, join the Afterthought family today. Start with our free tier to explore hundreds of hours of content, live videos, and uncut, just like Robert. No, not like Robert, like Joe.
I'm cut.
Episodes. What?
I said I'm cut.
Yeah. Episodes of Drag Race Recap, plus exclusive access to our Discord community and 24/7 Afterthought Radio. Upgrade to the premium tier for the best value. Get everything in free, plus early access to uncut commercial-free recaps, live recordings, and I didn't mention this last time. Every Sunday, so this comes out on Mondays. This comes out on Tuesdays. Drag Race Recap comes out on Mondays. But on Sundays at noon, there is a live drop of the uncut video feed, and you get access to that as premium level and above, and thousands of hours of bonus content. And for the ultimate Afterthought experience, well, it's the ultimate. Treat yourself to the executive tier, unlocking Just Between Us Girls and even more exclusive content. And this is all available on the Patreon app or the website, patreon.com/Afterthought Media. And for you Apple Podcast users, you can subscribe directly in-app to enjoy Drag Race Recap and Just Between Us Girls. Upgrade today and never miss a moment. Now, Robert, before I go to the break, everything good? Is there anything we need to know about? Any extracurricular activities? I know you were at Pride all weekend.
I was it, and yet another Pride all weekend. I remember when it was easy and free to be gay. Actually, no, I don't. I was also at a film festival all weekend, as well as Pride, and trying to avoid the, situation going on in downtown LA right now. So it's been a very weird, emotionally charged weekend for several different reasons. But I'm here, I'm queer, and I'm happy to be talking, unfortunately, without a beer. So let's do it.
I thought they were going to say he was happy to be talking to me, but of course not. By the way,
on
the previous episode, I mentioned how Robert, I could see through Robert's lies, needed the soft launch. I'm not going to this event, but
it wasn't a lie.
But I realized the biggest proof that it was a lie. Robert will not talk to me unless it's on this show. And the biggest tell was he actually talked to me that day for a long time.
Well,
and
I was sitting my ass on set. I'll send you the production report, girl.
Smart Water Alkaline with antioxidant. 9.5 plus pH, now in cans.
Refreshing.
Made for every way you move.
Should I run a marathon?
Let's start with finishing that water. Smart Water Alkaline with antioxidant. Now in a sleek can. For those with a taste for taste. Grab yours today.
So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
This episode is brought to you by Temptations Cat Treats. Your cat will come running for the perfectly irresistible Temptations Creamy Puree and Temptations Lickable Spoon Cat Treats. The best time to feed lickable cat treats to your cat is anytime. Feed by hand for a playful moment, in a bowl for a creamy treat, or as a topper to make mealtime fun. Visit temptationstreats.com to learn more.
We are back. Now, I had to, by, my own fault, I did not prepare. I missed the mark and forgot to prepare for Taylor not being around for Gay Days. And we had to use Lori Roggenkamp as a substitute host. And so I realized about 5 minutes in, this is not going to be a real recap. And so I was like, we'll have to do the real recap on at RulaskaThoughts. But I've given some of my thoughts, most of my thoughts on there. I'll look over my notes. But Robert, what were your thoughts on everything that happened on the latest episode?
I feel like it can be summed up as great television, but not necessarily great drag. I don't think the Rusical was particularly fun or interesting or well performed. And I think the runways were a hit or miss, really. And the lip sync was very whatever, but then it was all, followed by a very fun, well, I guess it's not fun because it's caused an awful lot of discourse among some tender, sensitive souls and some hardened, thicker skinned souls. But it was regardless a very intense point distribution process. And then, we had our final 3 go through, and it's just been, I think, a lot of fun TV. I still dig this season a lot.
Oh, yeah, it was very, very fun TV. I was on the edge of my seat. I was like, is Mistress really going to be shown up because she voted for Carrie? And so here's what I'll say. It's weird. I will say this. I criticize the show a lot. And because why, Robert?
Because you call balls and strikes, girl.
I call balls and strikes, okay? And so when the show fucks up and all this, but I will also say this. For the most part, with I'm sure a few exceptions that none come to mind right now, the show ultimately, based on the show that we see, comes, it's the right people that go at least to the finals. You may not agree with the winner, but at least it seems to me the final group, that whether it be 3 or 4 or 5 sometimes, they generally tend to be the right people. I'm sure there's exceptions, but they tend to be the right people. And do you have any thoughts on that?
I think I agree. I wonder how much of that is just, what's the word? It's so basic. Blank is 2020.
Hindsight.
Retrospective. Hindsight. Yes, thank you.
Well, okay, yes, but I think in this season, within the first few minutes of both brackets so far, you were like, okay, these are the 3 to beat. You may have some preconceived notions going in, but by the middle of the first episode, you could figure it out. And on this one, I think pretty quickly we knew, okay, it's Mistress Georges, and maybe there could have been the thoughts of Tina in the first episode, but it seemed the right 3 people went forward. Okay? At the end of the day, what's funny is I don't know how much damage Mistress caused to her own career. I don't know how much damage Georges, by nature of being involved, or even Lydia. Maybe it's temporary and not going to last very long. But why even risk that? Because at the end of the day, I crunched the numbers. And the same 3 people would have gone forward anyway.
Assuming everyone wins the challenge as they did, correct?
Well, I'm saying, the MVQ point thing got figured out, the next episode. So 1 episode's down. So now Lydia has 2 at that point, and Georges had 3. So Georges was pretty safe. I don't know why she would take that risk. Again, I go back to Mistress was was probably in her feelings and maybe saw all of a sudden Tina as a threat and so needed to do it. But for Georges and Lydia, I don't know why they felt that they needed to. I mean, it was for 1 point, Robert. That's what you think about it. They each gained a point.
Which was a point that mattered to Mistress, but not to Georges and Lydia.
But here's the thing, though. Yes, it mattered to Mistress, but what it did was it precluded her from getting any more points from anybody. Where I think had she not done it, Carrie would have given her a point somewhere along the line. Like she would have gotten that point.
For sure, but I'm not going to bemoan that because I'm happy that all this drama, foolishness, malicious gay faggotry happened. So
100%.
Hey.
Now, how do you feel the fact that, your Nicole Paige Brooks did not grow through?
Well, I'm not a damn fool. I knew that it wasn't going to happen from the moment she was announced. I was just grateful that we were going to get 3 episodes with her. You know what I mean? And there is still a chance. I also very much doubt this will happen, but she can be selected as the wild card pick to progress to the finals. I mean, obviously, they probably didn't know how much of a fan favorite she was going to become, but I as far as the 6 girls who haven't moved on to the merge, that's the one who I think the fans would want to see thus far.
Yes. And, I've seen this discourse online. And again, I got to tell everybody, what Mistress did is gross to me. It's like, in other words, even let's focus on, she said, oh, well, I knew Carrie was going to be a fake ass bitch and blah, 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 blah. You didn't need to say, girl, you're the fake ass bitch. You didn't need to say that. Like she could have said, I thought Carrie might do that. And so boom. And you still have the same drama. I don't know way to call her a fake ass bitch. But at the end of the day, I think I would have been pissed if Carrie went forward. She didn't do very well.
People are pretending like she's robbed and she didn't win a single fucking challenge.
No, nor did she come close.
No, and all her runways were just random shredded fabric pasted on a gorgeous body.
Yeah.
What are the people living for? I'm a little confused. Pretty privilege wins again.
Yeah. So, so the right three people went forward. It's going to be very exciting to see what happens in the semifinals. There we go. Did I have any notes I missed? Did I talk about Leland and he got rid of that stupid hair?
No, you did not mention that. But I always get a stiff upper lip whenever I see Leland and his fucked up teeth.
Well,
that was really mean of me. That was really nasty gay of me.
What's funny is this Leland now, it's usually the opposite. Usually like blonde hair, if you're getting older, makes you look older. He looks older now or seems older. And you're like, oh, you're just a nerd.
You didn't know that before?
I knew it before, but I don't know. And now he's doing that Caesar haircut to hide his receding hairline. Thank you. And also this Pobrecito Adam Shankman, what's going on with his career that now I could see one time he threw the girls a bone, he choreographed, but now you're back again?
Yeah, I mean, also, what has he been doing? He's also I say this as someone who just said a fucked up physical comment about another gay man, but he just has a bad, mean gay energy about him.
You
and I don't
don't
really care to see
Leland is talking shit about every single fucking person?
I don't know, because he has a very demure, not to, quote the old meme, but way about him. I don't know that he's, I would not accuse him of being a mean spirit.
You and your ex are not together anymore, right?
I don't care about that guy.
Being really nice to Leland.
Also, as an aside, every time someone says pobrecita, I realize that for the first 20 years of my life, I was like, who the fuck is Brisita? And why is she poor?
I want to come back to this. I want to say, why are you saying it like that? You can say it. Don't do this.
Say what? Well, I'm talking about how I spoke when I was 20.
So you said pobrecita?
I would hear poor Brisita. Like how I would also hear, when I would hear pre-Madonna, I thought they meant before Madonna in the 80s. Like she invented the concept, it was, before Jesus Christ and after Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be my new drag name, Poor Brasida.
I think of drag names all the fucking time. I had a good one the other day. I don't remember what it was. I'm glad I didn't mention that. Okay, is there anything else I missed? Anything else you want to say? Oh, you'll agree with this one. At the end of the team song, they said any hole is a goal, and I was like, oh, this Robert. This Robert is.
I chose to stuff my face with some chow mein and not comment on it in the room at the time.
Where were you? Where did you watch it?
I was in Nick's apartment after a long day of pride. But I did get a parking ticket.
Does your boyfriend Nick, does he watch this Drag Race?
No, but he will watch it with me because I'm like, I have to watch this as homework for tomorrow.
Does he comment as he goes, or?
Yes, and I think in part because he will argue with me about fucking everything. I will be like, ugh, I'm gonna go on my phone for these 5 minutes because I don't care about whatever notes Adam Shankman's gonna give Tina Burner about being a man in a wig. I think this is the most lame part of the show, and he's like, I actually think this is the best part of the show. I like the behind the scenes. I'm like, oh my god, okay, whatever. Then you can enjoy it.
You don't like that he's a contrarian?
I think it's good that we took each other off the streets.
I don't know if I mentioned this on the show, but I'm sure I did. Is going back to the whole Carrie the fake fucking bitch, blah, 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 blah. I think what gets overlooked is Carrie, even though it didn't work in her favor, made the right move because she didn't look like a chump. And what I mean is, Mistress was going to do this to Carrie the entire time. There was never a chance that Mistress was ever going to vote for Carrie. Ever. She was going to give it to Lydia or Georges the entire time. Am I wrong?
No, I agree.
So again, to call her a fake fucking bitch, she was going to basically try and pull another swindle on Carrie. It didn't work in her favor, so she turned into the fake fucking bitch. I've been sort of surprised that Alaska and Willem have come out so vehemently against this too. I don't know if you've seen this discourse. I've seen it just clips on TikTok, but they're really, really upset that Mistress did this stuff. Which is funny because, and maybe this is part of the reason, didn't Alaska have a real come to Jesus moment with her behavior on All Stars 2? Now, it wasn't shady or anything like that, but she was very competitive and equal parts drama as Mistress, but just in a different kind of way. So but I know she's reflected on that, and it was very difficult to cover All Stars 2 because of that. But what do you think of all this, Robert?
Well, I like Alaska and Willem a lot, both of them. I just don't listen to their podcast, so I don't know everything that you're talking about. But every time I think about Alaska on All Stars 2, I always think about, of course, the petulant breakdown and the weird serious attitude beforehand. It was very much not Alaska, the one that we came to love on season 5. But I always then also think about the finale episode where she's sitting on the couch doing some type of meditative, cross-legged nonsense for the cameras to show, oh, I've really reflected on my thing. And I'm like, I appreciate this because it's absurd, stupid, and camp, but at the same time, you're still playing a game. So I don't, to that effect, trust anything that Alaska has to say about her supposed immediate growth or post-show growth, or I also don't think that it really has many parallels to be drawn with Mistress's behavior, because while Alaska was being too serious, bratty, and, the kid who just lost being valedictorian, Mistress is just upset and accusing people of, what her behavior is like, which is, a fake ass bitch. I don't think Alaska was in any way malicious towards other people, whereas Mistress is getting a lot of heat for being so.
All right. Now, Robert, one thing that we for sure did not do on the show was we did not do the looks. And so I'm just going to read it right here. I already have the little descriptions. I don't know how accurate these are. I think they're pretty accurate. We'll find out together right now. Because, I just feed the looks into ChatGPT and it comes up with a description. I don't fact check it. Right? So first up, we had Nicole Page Brooks. She wore a neon pink bodysuit with high-cut hips and long sleeves, decorated with pink rhinestones and accented by a black harness overlay with turquoise trim and studded details. Her look included matching pink thigh-high stiletto boots and turquoise chap-style panels with silver studs. She completed the ensemble with a futuristic turquoise headgear, a voluminous curly wig, and a black faux horsetail attached to a turquoise saddle detail at the back. Did you have any big thoughts on this look, Robert?
I fucking live. If I go to Great America or Six Flags and there's a Nicole Page Brooke pink pony on the carousel, I'm hopping my dumb ass right on that and going around for a few spins. I love it. Foolishness.
They seem to love the look on the panel as well. I personally thought it looked really cheap and didn't live for it. I think you did too, but you liked the campiness of it all.
To me, that's real drag. I'm gonna go see my favorite bar queen whenever I can. You know what I mean? I don't mind low budget drag. It's funny.
Yeah, 100%. All right, next we have Tina Burner. Her look featured a deep maroon structured faux leather ensemble with tan and gold star motifs throughout. The outfit included a corset-style waist cincher, thigh-high maroon boots with gold accents, and a large cowboy hat with gold cord trim. Accessories like gold earrings, a necklace with a blue gem pendant, and a voluminous black wig added to the overall aesthetic. Robert, your thoughts?
I didn't realize we were bringing it to the runway today. I enjoyed Tina's look.
Wait, hold on, stop. We talked on the show today on the phone, and I said this.
I didn't know we were going this in depth.
And I said it on the recap.
For sure. I thought we were just going to do a glaze
video.
over.
There's going to be a video right here that plays the video, the content.
I didn't shave, but regardless. I thought it was a very structured look. I thought it was a very good, clean look. I thought Tina looked great in it. I kind of cringed at her confessional, and she's like, yeah, but that's a minor note. It has nothing to do with the look.
I saw it, and I was like, when I pull the looks, I saw that, and it was such a gross look she had on her face. I almost kind of wanted to pull it, and it was not good. It was not good. Thank you.
I thought it was a good look, though.
Okay, very good. Carrie Colby wore a white sculpted bodysuit with asymmetric cutouts and draped fabric, accompanied by sheer flowing chaps and iridescent fabric. Her look was topped with an oversized white cowboy hat and honey blonde braided wig adorned with beads. She finished the outfit with dramatic rhinestone face embellishments, platform heels, and ruffled tulle cascading from the back. What did you think of this one?
This girl wears the most fuck-ass shit anyone has ever put on a body. I don't understand. Her sense of style seems to be limited towards uncompleted pieces of fabric, like stapled onto her thigh and her shoulder and her midsection. I don't get it. It's like been a consistent thing about her. Actually, all of her lip sync looks that she changed into were all more elevated, complete, beautiful looks than any of her runway looks. I don't get it. There was been a few versions of this like stormy night. It's definitely I can't remember the name of I'm not Christian. I can't remember the name of the fashion collection that did this, but it's a stormy, or maybe it's a painting of like a depressed woman. I can't recall. But the Drag Race has had probably like 2 or 3 other queens do this visual reference of the stormy cloud and the raindrops falling down and being completely wet, but also being completely dry or whatever. I'm on the page, outgoing, introverted nonsense she was talking about. I just confounded. Maybe she's secretly a massive genius and that's why I cannot see her vision. But
no, I think it just depends on just being a Colby in her body. Yeah.
They're scraps.
All right, next we have Mistress Isabel Brooks. She appeared in a black sequin bodysuit with flame appliques in red, yellow, and orange sequins. She wore an oversized black cowboy hat with matching flame motifs and styled a bright red voluminous wig. The outfit included nude illusion panels on the thighs and arms, flame-detailed boots, and matching cuffs with fringe accents. Your thoughts on Mistress Isabel Brooks?
I mean, let's be real. If this was a mini challenge episode, we would still be clowning her for it looking haphazard and like just awfully fit and tailored to her body. It was just a bad look. It's terrible. Bad wig. It was horrible. And to add even more onto that, and I should have mentioned this with Carrie too, the whole runway theme and song or based around country Texan concept. And in the first episode, they tried to have their silly little, Georges, Carrie, and Mistress all doing the Texas alliance. And therefore, this runway and lip sync were tailored to them, and they all blew it.
Yeah.
Where's Texas Pride?
Houston.
It was terrible.
All right. Next we have Lydia B. Collins. Lydia showcased a denim bodysuit with tan rope lace details and attached faux cowhide chaps, giving a Western-inspired silhouette. She paired this with a cowhide patterned cowboy hat featuring long fringe that partially covered her face. The look was finished with a tan rope belt, a small denim belt bag, and a silver stiletto pumps. All right. Your thoughts on Lydia?
This was definitely my favorite of the night. I think it might be my favorite look Lydia's come out in. I think it had a lot of clean lines. It told a very clear story. I appreciated the exaggerated silhouette that I think Mo Hart got a lot of praise on for doing that brown cow stunning look in All Stars 4 with the swerves and curves runway. I hated that one. It was gross. It's ill. But this was a much better version of that. And for that, I'd say brown cow stunning. Also, I love denim. So
she looks fantastic, and she looks great, and big fan. Yeah, here we go. And finally, we have Georges. Georges wore a vibrant fuchsia pink corset bodysuit with silver rhinestone star embellishments, shoulder pieces with pink stars, and fringe details. The outfit included a large pink bow at the back with a long sequin train, white thigh-high stockings with lace trim, and pink high-heel platform shoes. She completed the look with a large curled ginger red wig, a feather headpiece, star-shaped earrings, and pink rhinestone cuffs. I based on what you said earlier, I'm gonna assume you did not like what Georges was wearing.
The look is deeply unremarkable, like very line dancer, backup dancer outfit, just absolutely no star power there. But I would like to say one thing, and it's I think that as a person of color with big brown eyes, I would like to sit all my fellow girlies of color down and say, stop wearing those spooky dookie eye contacts. We've had enough.
Yeah.
No more of these weird light brown caramel, like I'm peering into the depths of your soul type of nonsense. If it's a Coco Montrese electric blue, at least that's ridiculous and funny. But like trying to do natural eye contact colors, stop. Just stop. Yeah. They look surreal, unnatural, and, love the eyes that you got. Eye pride.
Very good. Now, okay, so we had that, and then we now know that Lydia and Georges were in the top 2. Did you have any thoughts on that lip sync?
Why wasn't it Alien Superstar or even my favorite Beyonce song, Summer Renaissance? Why aren't the lip sync songs curated to me, Joe?
Because you're not on the show.
Good
but
point.
I'm sure if you were, Robert, they would be catered to you because everyone caters to Robert, as he's let us all know.
Who said that?
We all
I don't really
know
like
this.
that song. Also, I didn't really like that album. And Beyonce stans can come for me. I don't care.
Oh, all right. You can email Robert at our official complaint line, thebestoftoday@gmail.com, and tell Robert your thought. If you're a Beyonce stan, you don't like what he said, that is our official complaint line. Now, Robert, so in the lip sync song, you're very whatever, and yeah. All right. Well, now we're going to move on to the part. Robert and I have talked about this episode a few times, and every single time he has said, please make sure we talk about the queens coming up in the purple bracket. So here we are, Robert. We're finally going to do what you want. Here we go. First up, from season 8, we have Acid Betty. She's New York's avant-garde queen. Acid Betty is back to push boundaries with her bold artistic flair. Known for her striking visuals and unapologetic attitude, she's ready to leave a lasting impression on the All-Stars stage. Tell me what you think about Acid Betty coming out. Speaking of pride, Acid Betty.
Acid Betty.
Acid Betty.
I hope Michelle wears chainmail in case a fist comes flying at her left tit.
What Robert is talking about is there's a famous, it's now become like a Reddit like running joke on the subreddit. But in the spoiler year, well, people still do the spoilers, don't look at them. But in the early days of the spoiler subreddit, there was a spoiler that people were dying for that Acid Betty, after she was eliminated, or she just randomly just punched Michelle in the left tit.
So I've always had this issue with the Reddit joke, and I actually don't even remember, even though I was on the subreddits at the time. But I don't remember the rumor being that she was punched in the left tit. I remember the rumor being that they caught on the microphone backstage before she was eliminated. RuPaul can't do this shit. Why is she judging me? I don't like it. And then Michelle brought it up on the stage, and then they had a verbal altercation about the shit talking Acid Betty was doing behind stage. And I don't know how that turned. How did that turn into the left tit joke that everyone repeats as gospel? I don't know, but it's definitely taken a life of its own.
Yeah.
I'd be remiss if I didn't reference it, you know?
Yeah, I have a similar memory to you. I remember, Acid Betty is one of those queens that this happens occasionally where they're a fashion queen and they bring the look. That I don't remember what it was, but the next episode after she left, I was like, oh, she would have killed this episode.
The Wizards of Oz makeover.
Yeah, probably that's what it was. And so I do think we're going to see some very interesting looks. Is she obnoxious? Yes, but we're going back to great television. Is she still great television? I don't know. I don't remember her being particularly great television when she was there.
No, because her brand of viciousness is one that's not particularly compelling. It's like actually malicious, and I don't have a problem with that really, because a Manhattan queen is going to be a bad bitch. That's a Manhattan queen,
Yeah.
But I remember, I think very few people have been this intentionally like rude to someone. Like when Chi-Chi was trying to explain to her how they were going to choreograph the group number in Bitch Perfect, and then Acid Betty is just like negating everything she's saying, and then she just says to Chi-Chi's face like, "Oh, I feel like I'm like, I don't know, the character in some comic strip is like, mom, 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 mom." He's like literally mocking Chi-Chi to her face, and like, fortunately, Chi-Chi's rest in peace, a gorgeous, kind soul, and didn't take the bait and fight with Acid about it. But if Acid spoke to me that way, barbs would have been thrown, and I'm not talking about Nicki Minaj fans.
By the way, I know Robert meant the peanuts. Okay. Next, we have Alyssa Hunter, the Puerto Rican pageant powerhouse. Alyssa Hunter returns with her signature polished looks and fierce determination. After an early exit in her original season, she's aiming to showcase her full potential and claim her spot at the top. Alyssa Hunter, Robert, any thoughts?
I have a few. I was definitely attracted to her in season 14, and I think she was probably one of the cutest boys to walk into that workroom. But this whole look at me, I'm Trade, let me make my boy confessional look, literally my blazer set is emblazoned with Trade. It's especially after all the surgery work, it's sad cringe, girl. It's giving Aura Mayari.
I was thinking about this today, actually. And I didn't even know about the part that she's wearing Trade on her confessional thing. She was literally Alyssa Hunter. Really, Alyssa Hunter in her original season. I can't think of a hotter guy to ever walk into the worm as a boy look. Like, really, has there ever been anyone hotter?
I think people like to think Cameron Michaels is, but I'm not interested in that.
No. Now, if the dad from American Dad walked in, you might be interested in that. But
maybe I would, actually.
Yeah, but not. What do you think of the dad from The Incredibles?
Oh, when he's young, Mr. Incredible in that blue suit, girl. I'm generally not into blonde guys, but he can call me anytime.
Okay. So anyway, and I don't know why, because she's Latino, right? She's Latino, and us Latinos, we age well. He would have grown to be a very handsome, and it hasn't been that long. Wait, what season, Alyssa Hunter?
14. And you remember in that season she came out and said, "Oh, my dad like found me watching gay porn and said, 'Bitch, me too.'" She's posted pictures in drag with her dad since, and her dad looks fucking phenomenal. So she would have aged very well if her gay father's anything to go by.
Yes.
That's why I don't get any work done.
Yeah. We'll see. So then, so why would you she's fucked her face up. She is not attractive. And I've already seen discourse of like, oh, we can't, how dare people already saying this. How dare you talk about someone's looks? You shouldn't. And I thought about this.
She brought it up.
She brought it up. She calls herself the trade. But if that's the currency you play in, that's the currency we're going to use. It would be as if Bianca was talking about how funny she is, and we were like, in 2012 or something like that, right? Is Bianca still doing those Don Rickles housekeeping? Is she still doing those jokes?
Asians can't drive. Yes, we stole our wallets. Blah blah blah. Probably, but I actually would be down to go to a Bianca Del Rio show. It's been a while since I've seen one.
Yeah,
so.
But what I'm saying is that's comedy is always actually kind of classic. But and I was using Bianca as examples. Bianca's currency isn't her beauty. Bianca's currency is how funny she is. So we can always use quick. So we can always use if there's a moment where she's not quick or funny, we can use that against her because that's the currency she has chosen. Ginger Minj's currency is that she's this actress, in the theater and musical theater and singing, girl, I'm a professional singer. And that, what did she say about Fifi?
About Fifi? About acapella? If you're going to do acapella, you better be ready, and she won't even do it.
Yeah. And so that's her currency. And so Alyssa made her currency, which I think is a dangerous currency. I was thinking about this today, speaking of side quests. What is going to happen with all these TikTokers and Instagram users and whatever who trade on their youth and twinkiness when that fades? What happens with them?
We are seeing it start to happen in real time. They're trying to pivot into more serious, take me and my opinion seriously type of internet personalities. Obviously, you and I hop on this microphone and just talk nonsense, and we don't pretend that we're doing anything other. You know what I mean?
That's the good thing about me being ugly and repulsive, like Lori agreed with, that I have to win people with my opinions and my humor and my voice, and that's not going to ever go away. I will always be ugly.
Did I tell you that my mom thought you were straight when she listened to the podcast recently?
I know. I was offended.
I was like, girl, are you crazy? I know the answer is yes. But.
Yes. So, anyway.
Well, all this to say about Alyssa Hunter, I think underlines the core point, which is that none of us really give a fuck about her drag because it has no perspective. And the only thing she offers is conversations about her boy self. And, her drag is usually very stupendous, very well done. I think she definitely had the best promo look in that exaggerated jester getup. But again, I don't know anything about who Alyssa Hunter is as a person except someone who trolls on Grindr for long periods of time.
Yeah. All right. Are you ready to see her cuckoo again? Miss Congeniality herself, Cynthia Lee Fontaine, brings her infectious energy and beloved cuckoo back to the runway. With her resilience and charm, she's set to remind everyone why she captured hearts across 2 seasons. Your thoughts on Cynthia Lee Fontaine?
Well, one, I know I talk about my Theas a lot, but Cynthia Lee Fontaine is a Thea. She's everyone's favorite Thea. She's just a silly, ridiculous, absurd person. And I love the word cuckoo geniality because it's hilarious. And I'm actually, this is a bracket where they're bringing first outs and all kinds of people, but I'm surprised to see Cynthia back because there's no way she's going to win a fucking challenge, dude.
No.
It's not a judgment at all about her level of talent or capability. It's the same as Nicole Page Brooks, where I'm like, these queens are just not made for that particular drag race, challenge. And that's fine. I don't care. I still love the girl, and I would love to see her perform. I'd love to see her at a show. I'd love to just kiki and talk with her in the smoking area. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm sure she's, you make a good point. I think she would be very fun to hang out with for a night, I'm sure that if Christian went to lunch with her, he would have a lot of fun stories to say about her, right?
And he would suddenly be her biggest fan.
Oh, Robert, have we talked about this? I talked to him since.
Not at length, no. Oh. And she happened to be on the pit stop this week, which makes it even more relevant.
Yes. I still don't want to say her name just in case it's searchable, but he was... I said, wait, I thought you don't like her. And he goes, I've never said that.
No, it's recorded.
We're calling him after. But let me finish the show first because I don't have that much time. But you know what? That's the problem. Is I don't have that much time, and that bitch is gonna fucking do a whole other show. Because I know he's driving from Oakland to LA right now.
Okay, you know, I'm deeply familiar with that drive.
Yeah.
Ugh, my back.
Okay. Anyway, so if she's fun to hang out with, but here's the deal, and I hate to say this, I hate saying it. On her original season, she was mediocre. She went maybe even a little late, right? She should have gone maybe home a little bit sooner. She was mediocre.
She went home in episode 3. And if she had gone home earlier, then we wouldn't have been blessed with that Nike dry fit shorts and random fishnet. It's just foolishness. I live.
But she came back because she had an illness, and thank God she survived, and she's a survivor, and she beat it, right? But that's why she came back, and she was just as still mediocre as she was then, right?
One of my favorite things about her on season 9 was when she got personally offended that Valentina made a cocaine joke about Colombia. I live.
Diabetti, the edgy and unapologetic Diabetti, returns ready to showcase her punk-inspired aesthetics and fierce competitiveness. Having fought her way to the finale in her original season, she's back with a vengeance to claim the crown. Diabetti, go.
Diabetes is an interesting case because I remember she got a lot of flack for being a villainous character in season 14, especially on a season that was very fucking kumbaya and extremely boring because of it. And I remember not really connecting with her in season 14. I just, you know, the Avril Lavigne punk in the same way that everyone else does punk aesthetic doesn't speak to me. I think it's a little seen, but I've seen a really elevated side to Diabetti in the last year or so that I am interested to see. What can we do beyond Skater Boy? What can we do beyond Paramore? You know? Not that those aren't legitimate, alternative perspectives, but they are a little bit, you know, Suburban's idea of what, like, hardcore punk is, but it seems now she has a more advanced perspective.
I'm very interested to see what happens. I know she went to the top 5. But I feel because that season was so blah that she almost deserves a chance at redemption. Because what can she do in a more competitive environment? Even though she is in the purple bracket, which is the season 14 of the brackets. But is it though?
We'll see. I mean, I didn't expect to love bracket 1 as much as I did. So I'm bringing that goodwill into bracket 3. Even though there's none of the queens in bracket 3 are my favorite.
Next, we have Denali, season 13. Ice skating sensation Denali glides back into the competition, blending athleticism and high-octane performances. Known for her dynamic lip syncs and captivating presence, she's poised to skate circles around the competition. There's actually 3 Latinos in this one. A lot of Latinos' presences here. Go ahead, Denali.
Denali's, I think, similar to Alyssa Hunter in the sense that the drag is stupendous and well done, but it doesn't really offer a lot of, like, depth. I don't know who Denali is apart from, like, a former athlete who has had a lot of well done drag looks made for her. I think she was a part of that initial kickoff tweet when that one gay said that they're weaponizing their BFAs. And actually, I didn't think that entirely encapsulated Denali, but I didn't really have a defense for her either. You know? Who is she as a drag queen? I don't know. But it was also that same accusation was levied at Rose at the time, which was definitely no questions asked there.
But she is in that same Rose, Jan, the one that Taylor likes, Alexis Michelle. She's in that category, right? She's very that.
I don't know, because she's not very theatrical. She's just more like a hot boy who does hot girl and wants to just, you know, be good at things. She's very type A and very Velvet Ragey. And that's why I'm kind of like, well, how much am I gonna like? That's not exactly what I root for. But she has a lot of very ardent fans.
It's so funny because on paper, as a boy, she's another one that bulked up a little too much, but still very attractive on paper, but I just don't feel it. Maybe it's that emptiness you're talking about.
There is something hollow.
Yeah, because I go, oh, look, there's a very attractive person, but I don't feel an attraction towards her or him, whatever they're presenting. Very strange. Finally,
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll be proven wrong. Hopefully I'll be proven wrong. I love being proven wrong. It's so slay.
I want to correct the record before I say the next person. I've never had a big problem with this person. I think people are mistaken it with Daniel Brewer.
Here we go.
But she's not my favorite, right? Ginger Minj, season 7, All Stars 2 and 6. The seasoned performer and comedy queen Ginger Minj makes her 4th appearance, bringing a wealth of experience and charisma. With her sharp wit and theatrical flair, she's determined to finally secure the All Stars crown. Ginger Minj, thoughts?
I am not a particular fan, but I'm also not a detractor. I've always appreciated the Southern church lady persona and aesthetic that she presented, particularly on season 7. She didn't have much to show on All Stars 2, except that awful space look. And then in All Star 6, honestly, it was a good season, but I can't tell you a lot of memorable moments about her fucking line about having like ruby red slippers or something to brown nose to RuPaul, which also, you know, goes in tandem with Katya's my best friend and all the lies that she blatantly told Violet and Pearl in season 7 Untucked. The girl just is not authentic. And it is funny to say that about drag queens where there is so much artifice, but I don't know that I fully trust who the fuck Ginger Midge is in or out of drag. But I do know that she's super talented and I appreciate that. Do I think she should have gotten the role of Ursula? No. But
you know what? Let's talk about that. That whole, you know, it goes with the whole thing too, where people think that Trixie Mattel is a legitimate like music sensation, recording artist, or even like celebrity. And it's weird to think that like, yeah, Trixie Mattel is probably the biggest star to come out of, she's like the Jennifer Hudson of Drag Race, right? And she's probably the biggest star to really make a success out of the show. But it's still in the grand scheme of show business, like very, like why they thought she should have us and like upset that she was ignored for the Barbie soundtrack. It's like, girl.
It tickles me.
No. Yeah. And like that whole thing. And the same thing with when people were mad that like Ginger Minj was not Ursula. In what universe do you think the Walt Disney Corporation is going to put Ginger Minj as Ursula? In what universe? I
hope there is a Little Mermaid musical in bracket 3 and she plays Ursula and she can shut both of us up about it.
No. But you're making my point. You're making my point is that, yeah, she should be Ursula in a Drag Race musical thing or whatever. Okay. But the Walt Disney Corporation's $200 million spectacle, and they're like, Melissa McCarthy or Ginger Minj, a person who was on season 7 at the time of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Well, Melissa did an awful job, so.
What's funny is she played into it. She was like, no one ever called me.
I would too, to her credit.
The perfect place to end the show.
I guess so. Well, the microphone cut out, girl. Sorry.
Robert, what do you got going on?
Right. Oh my god. I've done 50 races on Dandelion Depths trying to unlock my last character in the new Mario Kart, and it's just not happening for me, girl. Does God hate me?
Oh yeah. What's your 1-minute review of the new Switch 2?
I mean, it's really just a Switch Pro. And I loaded up Tears of the Kingdom to see what was what, and girl, it's the same shit. Just slightly better frame rate.
Yeah, but I'm seeing both things online. I'm seeing like, oh my god, it is mind-blowing. It is a different game. It's all the Korok Forest. You can just go through the Korok Forest and the frame rate is... I'm like, is this worth $500 for me?
That is true for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, which I do need to finish a run-through of the second one so I can finish my living decks. But Tears of the Kingdom, it's the same shit, Mom. What the heck? But I paid those $10 happily.
But hold on for a second. The one thing I will look forward to, though, when I get it, is being able to download some builds and whatnot. And so.
Okay. Well, let me know.
I do like flying around Hyrule.
Well, right now
Okay.
I'm flying around
We're on
whatever
this-
the Mario
thank God
Kart
this-
world is, just vibing with all the fabulous remixes.
Are you gonna get this Donkey Kong game when it comes out?
Yeah, what's going on?
With the Donkey Kong game or audio?
No, I'm not a Donkey Kong fan, but if they do ever remake Diddy Kong Racing, what? This is awful.
Goodbye, everybody. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah, just bye.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.